all to forgive themselves. So, yeah, and to know themselves, to free and release and be themselves. And so, like, that's like a great freeing of energy, like where I no longer need to carry what's not mine. And so, yeah, like that is freaking amazing. And now there's space and there's room for me and for me to live my own life. And yeah, and to choose what I get to do with my own energy, to choose like how I want and need to live my own life. And so, like, yep, that is freaking awesome and empowering. And so, what does empowerment mean to us? What does that really mean? And like, what does slavery mean? And like, yeah, how have we been playing into our own slavery, and how have we been like reinforcing our own chains through different stories, identities, attachments, and old beliefs, just because of the way that we've learned to see things. And yeah, whose lens is it anyways? Is it the judge's lens, the victim lens, or the true lens of love and inclusivity? Yeah, but sometimes we need to like separate ourselves so that we can differentiate and come back to harmonize and unify. And that has been the lesson for me this year. Yeah, what's mine and what's not mine, what's mine and what's yours and what's mine. And so, yeah, just good lessons in that alchemy. And I did write out something that I really needed to, and it really needed to be expressed too. There was like some projections that were misdirected at me, like a lot of misplaced hostility, a lot of misplaced blame. And I could see where I had sent that out earlier in the year, where I was like expecting others to be what I needed for them. And since they weren't like being what I needed or what I like expected them to be, like I didn't like outright project like and direct my hostility towards them like in personal ways, and yeah, and in ways that confronted them directly. But like I would have like thoughts and stories going through my head about like how I was disappointed and like yeah, different things like that. But yeah, this came back to me like a couple days ago on the 23rd, when it was the third night of Yule, the night of illusion, and the moon and everything. And I thought that was interesting. Like the underbelly showed itself, like the darkest dark of that, like through the darkest part of my relationships that I was unconscious about, like showed itself in these ways, through like certain expressions that were coming from the other person's ego and wounded child aspects. And I was able, yeah, I saw through that. I knew it wasn't really about me. There was a lot of pain there, and there was a lot of guilt, and there was a lot of old strategies that were totally unconscious, and really had to do with the codependent and the narcissist, and the victim and the judge. And so I knew like a lot of it, like all of this stuff that was being dumped through texts and stuff was just really like a cry for help. And it was like really grief and anger speaking, like unconsciously, and like through a certain lens. And so I knew not to take it personally. And most of it was just like, whoa, okay, that's pretty hostile, but I've already dealt with my stuff about this, so like I'm not really going to be sucked into this right now because I don't need this, and no, thank you, like I'm not agreeing to this, and I can let it rest for now. And so it was interesting to see like how like when we're losing something, or we're fearing loss, or we're just like grieving about like what's been taken away, or what feels like it's been taken away, or what feels like if someone is abandoning us, or someone has outgrown like the old ways of our relationship, that can feel very scary and threatening and frightening, and it can bring up a lot of things. And so like I understood all that, why like the shadow dumping was happening, and like why certain projections and like insults were being spewed and expressed. And like, yeah, I was just like, huh, that's interesting. Okay. But really, what I did need to say, like, because this friend of mine thought that I was punishing her and that I was abandoning her, and that I wasn't taking responsibility for my own feelings. And she had tried the last couple of weeks to hoover me back in, to breadcrumb me, to bait me through ego flattery, through sob stories, through self pity, through guilt trips. Um, and I don't think she even realized it, like how she was operating. And I was just kind of like, well, I'm not responding to that because, yeah, I can see what that is, and I'm just not like gonna even be drawn into that. So I'm not wasting my energy on that. And like, it didn't feel good to me, and I was just like, nope, nope, I don't think so. I have, yeah, other things that I'm choosing for myself. But I don't think she knew another way. I think she was trying to get me to respond because, and to also like, she was expecting a confrontation because she didn't feel like a resolve. And so, yeah, in certain ways. And yeah, she just dumped the shadow stuff all over. And I was just like, that's interesting. So, yeah, I think there was only one or two parts that really like made me like bristle a little bit. And I got to look at that like for me, because like it was like showing me like a vulnerability that I had. So I got to respond to that. Um, yeah, and I'm like accountable for my choices, my actions, and my behavior. And I allow me my mistakes and my ways of growing and learning and shifting and changing. And yeah, I'll be accountable and responsible for all that's mine. And I have been, yeah, and I shall be, and I will be, as I realize and I recognize. Yeah, I am willing. So I did just share a few things, like where, okay, you're asking for the truth now, and I'm going to be clear about it. And this is not about you. This is about me. This is about what I need for me. This is not a punishment for you. This is not, yeah, really about you at all. This is about what I need for me and what I've realized and what I can see, where this is no longer serving me or we, and I have the right to walk away from things and relationships that are no longer serving me. And we do not owe each other anything. And it's like really cutting the cord of that false belief of that I owe you story. And so, like, yeah, that is a huge thing to look at. Why do we feel like we're so entitled to things? You know, like, let's look at that entitled victim. Let's see what kind of stories she's telling us and what they can show us about some of our old ways of operating. Like, where are we giving our power away? And where are we playing small? And where are we, like, staying in blame so that we can keep playing that victim and that worthy, like, sacrificial lamb? So if we sacrifice ourselves and we martyr ourselves and we can just, yeah, keep playing in those self-pity stories, and then we can blame something, someone else, or we keep blaming ourselves and punishing ourselves and disowning and rejecting and denying ourselves. And so, like, those are like great things to look at. Yeah, so that we can empower ourselves and make the victim an ally, and not just like the one that wants to hold on to control because there's a payoff there for us. You know, like, seriously, we've been programmed with this victim, hero, judge, villain, monster programming. And we get to sort that out and figure that out for ourselves, like where we're playing into that, where we're buying into it, and where we're casting ourselves and where we're casting others, where we're playing different roles. And yeah, in different ways, through different ways, unconscious or conscious ways. And not beat ourselves up about it. Let go of the judgments about it so that we can really use our discernment and own accountability for our parts that we played in it. And so I just want to share a little bit about, like, yeah, how I got to respond. And because it's like space that I need for me, and it's like relationships that I choose to be in and that I put my energy into. And it is my right to choose that, like, what I want to feed and what I want to take into me, what I want to give and what I want to receive. And that is like my choice and my responsibility. And no one else can meet my needs for me, but they can help me with, yeah, with creating like certain things. And I can help, yeah, co-create through like different relationships, yeah, to take care of myself and take care of my needs. And also like offer and extend and contribute to the well-being of others. But it's not my job to like make sure their needs are met. Like, if I'm in a partnership with someone and we've committed and agreed to certain things, that's a different story, and that's a different commitment or agreement. Yeah, and so yeah, that's a good thing to look at too, is the commitments that we have and our own agreements that we've made, or unspoken agreements. Yeah, maybe those are assumptions, and maybe they're just expectations, or yeah, beliefs about something, distorted beliefs. So we all get to look at that through our own ways. Yeah. So this isn't personal or a punishment. It's cutting the cord of a false belief in I owe you. The illusion of a debt owed to you, or a debt owed to me. We do not owe each other anything. Thank you, but no thank you. I release you and I release me. I release all attachments that no longer serve me or my energy. This choice that I've made is to free us both from this unhealthy and dysfunctional relationship that we have unconsciously and consciously created. And this is me stepping back and saying, no, I'm changing now. I'm not willing to continue or prop up this false story. Heal your own victim consciousness. This is my choice that I'm choosing for me. This is my choice to make room for me. This is my choice to clear space for me, and I do have that right too, as do you. This is my choice to move through and dissolve my old patterns, and this is what I choose, and I choose it for me. I choose all this out of love for me. I choose all this out of love for we. I choose this love for all of we, to let go and be more true to me, to honor how I feel and what I need, to honor and see what my feelings are showing me. I choose all this love for giving to me. I choose this to honor my relationships and my integrity and service to the whole. And this is done through listening to my guidance and being true to me. I choose this for my intimacy. I choose this because my soul asked me. This is my choice for myself and my energy needs, my well-being. This is what I choose to honor me and we fully. This is me being love for me and we, and letting go of what I no longer need. I no longer need to be a pleaser or sacrifice my energy, and I get to let go of what is no longer working for me. It is no longer true for me. I am not your source for your energy or your emotional supply. I am not your sole source of soul support. I am not and never have been obligated to you for your life. I have made no vows or agreements with you to care for you for your whole life. I do not owe you anything, and you are not an entitled victim, and we are both free to be. I have made no promises to you. I have made no life commitments to you. I have been clear, and it's not my job to make you see, hear, or understand. That really is all up to you. I have made no life commitments. Yeah, to you. So I will not respond to any guilt trips or poor me stories. Take your own accountability, claim your own power and bullshit, and your own freedom and responsibility for your choices, actions, and behavior. This is misplaced hostility and anger, judgment, condemnation, and misplaced blame. Forgive yourself and love yourself. Free yourself from your pain and your blame. Only you can choose this for you. Only you can set you free. Find the light within. Ask and ye shall receive. Go within and ask for guidance. You are meant to receive now from your true self and others. This is a part of your journey that you take without me, and only you can choose to take and travel this path to your life. And so, yeah, that's what I got to actually learn a couple months ago, where I was, kind of having a hard time letting go of others that I care about and I love, and like that, yeah, they were hard to let go of, or their late relationship was hard to let go of. But now that I see that I can, and I can wish them well, and it's okay. Like, I don't need to cling to my old stories or my old beliefs about how things should be. I just get to accept things and allow them as they are, and love them and bless them and wish them well. And that's a lot of what I needed to learn for myself, is like that I get to love and forgive myself, and I get to free myself, and that this part of my life, it's a journey that I get to take, like, and I get to do it alone, and yeah, in certain ways, yeah, on my own. But like, we're always traveling with each other sometimes, or we go our own routes, and sometimes we go our own separate ways, and then it comes about again where we intersect and meet again. And so, like, just, yeah, letting go of the need to cling to certain things, or old identities and old ways of being in relationship, and yeah, making the room and the space for new intimacy and new expansion and levels of growth, yeah, to, yeah, come in and be manifested. And so that's what we're all doing, and it kind of hurts that in a lot of ways, like sometimes, and it's, yeah, there are stages of grief, because we want to hold on to things, we don't want to lose things. But really, like, if we could change our minds about that, and know that, like, something even like more wonderful is coming in after we make that sacrifice, like to let go, and to allow, like, things to unfold like how they're meant to, and like, yeah, and respond and play our parts, and yeah, and listen and acknowledge ourselves, listen, like, to our small still inner voice that's really like our own source, our soul, our connection to our higher self, like our heart and our true self. Yeah, like, what are we clinging on to in certain ways for security and safety, but we're actually harming ourselves in a lot of different ways sometimes, and we just get to recognize that and see that for ourselves. And so letting go, that's sometimes really hard to do, and because it does feel scary, painful, and like we're losing control. But really, once we do, like, yeah, we can free ourselves from our pain and our suffering, or we're free to meet ourselves, and we're free to meet that pain with love, and attend to that part of ourselves that's been suffering, and yeah, really acknowledge and care for ourselves, and see, like, what's really being asked of us and what's being offered to us and for us. Yeah, what's more aligned with what's true. So, the fear and desire cycle of recycling pain through the distorted blame game. Please take a good look in the mirror and see what's been playing and playing you. The hamster wheel of the judge and the victim. It's never ending if we keep choosing pain again and again to play in it. And so, yeah. Where are we choosing more pain? Where have we abandoned ourselves? Where have we been at war with ourselves? Where have we been punishing ourselves again and again for the same mistakes? Where have we been denying ourselves? What are we rejecting in ourselves? Where have we disowned and abandoned ourselves? Who's creating our story? And who is responsible? Who is responsible for you? Who is responsible for me? Like, yeah, are we taking our responsibility? Who is the one that you really need to love, allow, forgive, receive, and give and offer care to for giving? Who are the ones that we really need to love, allow, forgive, receive, and give and offer care to? So forgive ourselves. Let's forgive ourselves. Forgive yourself. I forgive myself. Own yourself. I'm willing to own myself. I own myself. Own your responsibility. I own my responsibility. I'm willing to own my responsibilities. I'm willing to respond. I'm willing to acknowledge my abilities to respond. And so no one else can choose this for you. No one else can do this for you. We've got to free ourselves. We've got to forgive ourselves and remember ourselves. And so, Yeah, I have my own right to set my own boundaries. I have a right to my own needs. I have the right to decide what I will and will not receive. I have the right to decide and to choose what is best for me. I have the right to walk away from things and relationships that no longer serve me and we. I have the right to choose who I give my energy to. I have the right to speak my mind in any way I choose. I have the right to decide who I let into my life. I have the right to decide who I choose to share my energy, space, and time. And I am not on call for the ego's demands. I do not need to respond on command. And what makes us feel so entitled? Yeah. Who's telling the story? Is it the real you, or is it your fragile victim? So we can choose self-pity and blame, or we can choose accountability and receive the gifts, opportunities, and lessons being offered. We can keep choosing pain, blame, and shame, or we can choose our power and our accountability, our freedom and our responsibility, our bullshit, our fullness, and our fertility. So it's up to you how you create your own story. You're the hero, judge, savior, villain, victim, martyr, sinner, saint in your own stories. Choose love for yourself and release yourself. Choose to find another way through all of love's ways. Forgive yourself and free yourself. Love yourself and know yourself. All right. Farewell for now. Be love for yourself. Thanks for listening.